So Mr. Beast is starting an Amazon Prime video game show. That was a mouthful. So make sure to dislike and comment because I did a lot of research into this. First things first, I had to watch an hour and 30-minute video of Mr. Beast talking to Colin and Samir. That is actually the reason that I made this video, because I want to take what they did and they interviewed him and put it into a condensed 8 to 10 minute version and hopefully cut out a lot of the bloat that you're going to get from a podcast format. On top of that, he also talked about other things in the latter half of this, so it's still worth it to go watch that video. With that being said, I'm going to get right into it and talk about the important stuff. First things first. Mr. Beast is doing a game show for $100 million on Amazon Prime. He says it himself. This is literally a press release. In this podcast, he says this is a press release on everything Amazon Prime Mr. Beast games related. He got it $100 million for this. He's going to have over 1,000 contestants. There's going to be a $5 million prize, which if you're keeping track, that's roughly 5% of the total that he's getting paid for the contract, which means that's heavily cutting into his margins. And it's going to be a full season rather than just one video. That is important for a lot of things. First things first, Mr. Beast is very hyper fast paced. And he does talk about in this interview that he would like to move away from that. He wants to be anti-beastified, is what they're calling it on YouTube, is beastified. If you're going fast-paced and you're cutting a lot and you're snapping back and forth between multiple videos and you're keeping it basically brain rot, he wants to get away from that. He wants to make his Amazon Prime videos games, Amazon Beast games slower, story-driven, properly like a real film adaptation. And it's important that he does this exact thing because it will create respect for all YouTubers within the category of the film industry. So the film industry right now looks at YouTube and says, yo, these guys are absolute amateurs. They don't know anything about recording. And if they're looking at me, they're probably right. But if they're looking at someone like Mr. Beast who spends $100 million on a single video rather than a group of 8 videos, they're wrong. They're dead wrong. And he's actually setting industry standards that are probably being used in the actual film industry, but they don't even know it. This fast snapping is the same type of snapping that is used in Marvel movies now. If you haven't noticed, they take a large amount more fast snaps and cuts in new Marvel productions versus old Marvel productions. And that's a big deal because that is something that is exactly like influenced by short form and Mr. Beast-like characters. Now I want to talk very quickly about how Amazon is definitely the best choice for Mr. Beast in his own words and also my own opinion on this. He says Amazon is the best choice because versus other film productions, Amazon gave him the most creative control. Why is that important? Because he needs to have all the creative control. He can't just have half the creative control or it's just going to be another series that is just like everything else. It's not going to be a YouTube created thing. It's going to be another Amazon series. Which gets me into why Amazon just hasn't been doing it for me recently. You know, they have great originals like The Boys, Invincible, or one that's a little bit less known, The Tick, which I have watched entirely. And they're honestly great shows. They're shows that I absolutely love and I would probably watch again. But recently Amazon has done something that made YouTube look like the better people in this situation. Amazon added ads. And I know, big surprise that a giant company added ads to their videos. But like, there's a difference because on YouTube, I pay to not have ads and I pay for their premium service. On Amazon, I pay for Prime and I pay to have their premium service. but I'm not getting their premium service. I'm getting ads. I'm getting 3 ads per video. I watched Invincible a couple days ago when it first came out. I got 3 ads during the thing. One was a roughly 15 to 30 second ad. The next one was a minute, and the last one was another minute ad. Not a big deal. I mean, it's 2.5 minutes. But when I'm paying for something and I'm paying not to see ads and I'm seeing ads because they want to make even more money off of my viewership, it's actually kind of ridiculous. It's the same thing that other streaming services are doing the exact same thing. I've actually seen the only one that hasn't done this has been Netflix, which is really weird because Netflix upped their price a bunch. Except it's not because they upped their price a bunch. So either way, you're paying for things that you didn't used to have to pay for, which is ridiculous. But with that being said, Mr. Beast is used to ads. He can incorporate ads well, and that's all there is to it. Now I want to talk about what the impact on YouTube is going to be because of Mr. Beast doing this. The first thing that I want to say is that the first video that Mr. Beast puts out about this Mr. Beast Games series is going to be on YouTube. That is very important because being on YouTube is the most important thing for Mr. Beast. He says this multiple times in the interview. It is the most important thing for him to stay on YouTube. And also with that being said, he's going to make sure that this Amazon video thing isn't touching YouTube. So he's going to post the same amount that he was before on YouTube, which is a great thing to hear. If he was giving up on YouTube, I would say, okay, no, this is stupid. Why is he doing this? This is the worst thing. This is the worst decision that he could ever do. Why would he do this? This is stupid. But then I was remembering that he's already been posting on Twitter/X.com for a long time. He's actually posted probably like 5 full-length videos on Twitter and talked about publicly how much he made on those and how much extra he made on those because of that. And that's just how it goes sometimes. That's just how it goes, and that's and him not being on YouTube is okay occasionally, as long as it's mainly on YouTube. Now, last but not least, I want to say my whole opinion on the whole thing and why I think I'll be watching Mr. Beast games and probably watching Mr. Beast content a little bit less if it wasn't my job. Personally, I believe that for a while, the past year or so, I have been moving away from Mr. Beast content because it's really hard to top the last thing that he did. It's always hard to top the last thing that you do when you literally put $1 million on the line. I would always check in on these big videos, the big ones that did amazing, but now I'm just at the point where I only watch Mr. Beast content because I'm also a YouTuber. And I think that Mr. Beast Prime Gaming is the one way that he's going to be able, I meant Prime Video, but it's going to be the one way that he's going to be able to catch my attention again. Over 1,000 contestants, $5 million prize, a full series of Mr. Beast. That catches my attention more than anything else has in the recent history of YouTube. I care about Mr. Beast suddenly now. I actually care about what he's doing, and that's going to make me watch Mr. Beast again. With that being said, if you agree, disagree with my opinion, make sure to leave a dislike and comment. I will see you, B-dubs, at Mr. Beast Games.